Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and we are coming up to the end of Season of Plunder. We've got approximately, what is it going to be, like 20 days? 17. Not even 3 weeks left. Now, some of you guys have probably checked out of the season, but I wanted to give you guys a few tips with regards to the actual seal for Season of Plunder. Now, depending on how much you play the season, you've probably done your hideouts in your story, played some expeditions, played some catch crash. Maybe you did master once, maybe you didn't, who knows. But Bungie actually went through and updated most of their requirements, or at least about half of these, to make them easier. And they took the CO progress requirement from 9 down to 8. So you don't have to do them all, you can technically skip one. So if you did the pirate hideout missions and you actually saw the story this season, this should be done. This is one of the big changes for the star chart, when you have to earn repute by doing some of the seasonal challenges. Previously, it was like all of them. You needed all 21, you needed to fully upgrade everything. And now they changed the number. They didn't change the wording. It says purchase all, but it just, all you need is 14. So it's 2/3 of the upgrades. So that is substantially smaller. So you can skip some of the ones. You don't have to grind every seasonal challenge out. Just get up to 14 and you're good to go. The treasure beacons, those are not too bad. If you've played enough to unlock the reputation, you would have to reset your reputation one time to get the large one. I think it's later up in the reputation grind, maybe up to like 10, 11, 12. I forget where the large one is at, but that's probably the longest grind depending on how much you've played. But I do have guides on all of those once you do unlock those treasure beacons. So if you need them, check those out on my channel. This is a massive change. Now, the first mates previously, you could summon like Halxis, Scurvy, or Skiff Blades just normally, depending on which one you select. And then you have the option to have a first mate that you can actually, when you summon them, you actually summon their kind of upgraded version. Now, when you go through the star chart itself, you do need to make sure you unlock these, specifically like the first mate upgrades. Otherwise, doing this at all is going to be impossible. So you need to at least be able to summon them once. But it used to be 15 for each one of these guys. They took first mate Halxis, Scurvy, and Skiff Blades. You only have to summon them one time each. I'll go into the star chart in a second and show you guys what I'm talking about so you can. But again, instead of being 15 times each and how many times that you'd have to run the activity, you just have to do that one time each. And I'm hoping they're learning, honestly, with some of these changes. This is obviously just doing it one time as a challenge to kind of give you a little variety of which one. Summoning it like, you know, one time, like 15 times, unless you're just absolutely crazy about these activities, that's running an activity 45 times. That's ridiculous. So hopefully they're learning that some of these are getting a bit too grindy. Complete the catch crash on master. Now you can skip one of these. This could be one of the two that you would skip depending on what you've worked on. Now, if you don't want to skip this one and you actually want to do it, go to bungie.net, go to their fire team finder, and if you're logged in on your bungie.net account for Destiny, and you just go to catch crash, you're going to see people looking for groups for master pretty much all the time, unless you're looking at 2:30 in the morning. So go try and find one group for master catch crash, go in there at a decent level, take, you know, make sure you're equipped at your highest level that you've got, and just try and help as much as you can. If you die, that's okay. People tend to res, and it tends to get done. Give it 1 or 2 tries if for some reason you fail the first one, and you will be able to knock this out. So if you don't have a group, use the Bungie Fire Team Finder. That's literally how I got this done the first few times I did it. It's actually not too bad. So check that one out. Try and bring something that's going to help with champions, and you'll be on your way. Defeat all the bosses. Now, this is a reason that I'm making this video this weekend. You need to log in and do catch crash at least once before reset on Tuesday. Main reason is the bosses are on a 3-week rotation. So if you don't defeat one of the bosses now, and then the next week you beat one boss, and the next week you beat the final boss, you won't actually be able to get all 3 before the season ends. So it's important you do log in and play catch crash literally one time, and then you can spread this all out over the rest of the 2 weeks depending on what you've got to do. But at least beat the boss in catch crash one time this week if you haven't played this week. That way, if you haven't done this already, and again, you probably have if you've been doing the prior hideouts and catch crash and other things, but if you haven't, you do need to make sure you start now if you do want to get this thing, because in the last 2 weeks, you'll only see the 2 bosses. Currently, we're in like 3 weeks left in the season, 2 weeks left in the season, last week of the season, we're in number 3. So start now, do one, that way you don't miss out. Deposit treasure into the treasure hauler. That's just chunking the engrams into the treasure hauler. If you've done expeditions, you've probably done plenty of this. I don't imagine this is going to be overly difficult, but when you see the engrams fly out, chunk them into the treasure hauler pretty frequently and you'll probably be all right. The other massive change that they made is the Ruffians. This used to be 50. So for some of you guys, this might be auto-completed, because if you've seen 10 over the course of the season, you probably are done. If not, you might actually be close. 7, 8, 9. If you've played through enough pirate hideouts and catch crashes and expeditions, you've probably seen a few. So the fact that, one, they bumped up the spawn rate, so you should see them more often. And then also the fact that they took this thing down from 50 to 10 makes this a much more doable triumph. And if you're trying to, you know, do a couple things with, you know, expeditions and summon first mates and do a few things, 10 are probably going to show up. So just keep that in mind, that this is much, much easier. Theoretically, if you've got everything else done and maybe you don't even need this one, if you were like, you know, 8 of 9 and you just did not find the Ruffians, maybe you're good there. The final one is unlock patterns for weapons from Season of the Plunder, and you have to unlock 3 of them. This may be the hard one for many of you, just depending on how lucky you've been on red borders, how much you've grinded them out, how much you've seen. This could be one that you may actually want to skip. And that's kind of where you get to decide, as you only need 8 and not 9 total. If you don't want to do the catch crash, but you've got your weapons, then you're good as long as you do your Ruffians. If you don't want to do your Ruffians, you're going to have to do Master Catch Crash and unlock some patterns. But you can skip one, which I do appreciate. I kind of feel like that would be a nice thing for them to do every so often. Just because they're not all required. But the lowered requirements of only 10 Ruffians, only 1 first mate each time, not all the star chart upgrades. All of those are very, very good changes to make this a much more attainable seal. Now, just for a quick explanation, I'm going to go to the star chart and cover what I was going to say. All right, quick refresh. If you are at the star chart, these are the upgrades I'm talking about, and it's specifically the first mate right here. So you're going to need the first 3 that you're going to need are the skiff blades, the sniper, and the servitor. And then if you get the first mate upgrades, that's going to allow you to be able to summon the first mates when you are actually in expeditions or catch crash. And the way you slot those in, remember in the Captain's Atlas, you can pick a first mate. You can pick none, which is totally fine, and as long as you've unlocked them, you can summon them. But all you got to do is make sure you select whichever one you're going to summon. If you see the green flag, summon them once. Next time you get back to orbit, switch it over to the next one. You see the purple flag, you'll summon the first mate, and you'll be good to go. So that's kind of the idea, is make sure you get those upgraded. And then other than that, I think I've covered everything else in here at this point for upgrades. But the biggest thing that you can do is, you know, work on getting those guaranteed patterns. But that's it for the star chart. So Scallywag is very attainable now. But the changes that they made literally this week make it actually pretty reasonable, and some of you guys might be much closer than you think. So this is just a reminder to log in, check. If you don't have that much more, maybe you're missing one of those 3 bosses, make sure you play Catch Crash 1 time this week to make sure if like the boss this week is the one you need, that you can check that box. And then you got 2 more weeks to get the last bosses and finish up anything else you guys need. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the like below. Drop a comment below, even if you just want to say hello, or maybe you got tips to finish this thing up quick. You can find me on Twitch, on Twitter, but if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I got a good video. I've got a good video coming up on Monday for all of you solo players, so please watch that one, share that one. That's actually one where I've got an ad for me that helps support the channel, so that would be appreciated. Other than that, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you soon.